Good morning. This is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Wednesday, July 1st, 2026. The fire potential headlines for the next week include breezy winds continuing over the southern Great Basin today and tomorrow with some unstable conditions, isolated to scattered showers over the north for the next few days, and then rapid warming and drying for the weekend and into next week. We still have the fuels and fire behavior advisory in effect, and ERCs are increasing area-wide, and especially we'll see those values increasing for the weekend and into next week. The Fuels and Fire Behavior Advisory is shown here. The area of concern is highlighted in red. This advisory is issued for persistent drought, record low live and dead fuel moistures, extreme fire behavior, and rapid fire growth in these areas. The fire potential impacts for the next couple of days show some winds continuing across the southern Great Basin today and tomorrow. Those wind gusts are a little bit lower than what we have been seeing, gusts 22 to 32 miles per hour or so, combined with unstable conditions are going to continue to lead to some advanced fire growth. And then we do see some isolated to scattered storms today over the central Idaho mountains, and then lingering tomorrow into southern Idaho and maybe northern Utah as well. No significant impacts on Friday. Precipitation and lightning for the last 24 hours shows some showers and thunderstorms over the central Idaho mountains, with some isolated storms a little bit further north over western Wyoming and a few stray strikes here in northern Utah. Initial attack activity for yesterday. Initial attack activity for yesterday was pretty minimal, with only 3 fires for 1 acre. However, we did see over 15,000 acres of large fire growth, mostly coming from the Babylon fire once again, and we are still seeing it at PL4 for both the Great Basin and nationally. Looking at the smoke for this afternoon, again, we're expecting to see smoke coming off the Cottonwood and the Babylon fire. Really expecting another decent day of growth on the Babylon, both today and tomorrow. Current fire danger conditions are shown here. Still seeing some decreased values across the north and west, and we have seen some values decreasing even over portions of southern Utah over the last couple of days, with some cooler temperatures and higher RHs here and there. However, those values are already starting to come up, and we'll see them increasing rapidly over the next 5 days or so. Satellite imagery this morning is showing the low pressure trough in place over northern Nevada, keeping things on the cooler side across the area. But we do still see an area of increased southwesterly winds across the southern Great Basin. So looking at the forecast for the next 3 days here, that low is in place across the north today. We kind of just see a few little shortwave troughs moving through the flow the next few days, keeping the temperatures near normal or slightly below normal for the time of year, and then also keeping some winds in place across the southern Great Basin. We do have high risk for burn environment across southern Utah and southeast Nevada for today and tomorrow, again for some of those breezy winds in addition to the unstable conditions that are expected there the next few days, and no high risk on Friday. The winds in RH for the next few days, we can see those elevated wind gusts over southern Utah for today and tomorrow. Still not super high, but looking at that 20 to 30 miles an hour or so. Definitely a little bit breezy near that Babylon fire. Relative humidities are going to be low and decreasing over the next couple of days over Utah and Nevada. A little bit higher in Idaho today and tomorrow, but definitely a drying trend is moving into the area, especially by Friday and into the weekend. The winds do start to lighten up a bit by Friday. Precipitation-wise, we are expecting those showers to kick off once again and thunderstorms over the central Idaho mountains, across southern Idaho and western Wyoming. Tomorrow we'll see the storms move a little bit further south. I don't know that we'll see a lot of thunderstorm activity here in eastern Nevada tomorrow, but we'll be keeping an eye on that. And then by Friday, just some lingering storms over far eastern Idaho and western Wyoming. Mixing height here shown on the bottom, really just highlighting those really high mixing heights over southeast Utah near the Babylon fire, contributing to the really rapid and large fire growth down there. We have mixing heights up to about 10,000 feet, which does show the instability in the area. We see those high values today and tomorrow, decreasing a little bit by Friday and into the weekend as the high pressure ridge sets in. For the weekend, high pressure ridge, again, is the big story, quickly building into the Great Basin, bringing hot and dry conditions back to the area, and that'll continue into the first part of next week. We do see a lot of our PSAs turning into the browns and yellows a little bit further north as that warm and dry weather moves in. No high risk under this high pressure ridge. Again, pretty light winds are expected Saturday into Sunday. Monday, we may see some breezier conditions start to increase over far western Nevada, and minimum relative humidities drop down into those single digits across Utah and Nevada and decreasing into the teens over Idaho. Precipitation wise, not looking for really any for the weekend into the first part of next week as a high pressure ridge builds in. Temperatures again today near normal, even slightly below normal in some areas for the time of year, with highs in the mid 80s, mid to upper 80s in some areas. But by Sunday, we're back up into the mid to upper 90s in many valley locations. In summary, we have high risk today across southern Utah and tomorrow for the burn environment, highlighting slightly elevated winds with unstable conditions. After today and tomorrow, no high risk is in the forecast as a high pressure ridge builds in, and we return back to that hot, dry pattern with generally light winds. The extended forecast for July 6th through the 10th keeps us above normal temperatures and near normal precipitation with maybe some drier conditions on the far western side. That concludes today's briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest